On this episode of Horror News Radio, the Grue-Crew review, Ready or Not.
Doc Rodden, and this is Horror News Radio, the official Gruesome Magazine podcast. Back with me again this week are the scariest, goriest, bloodiest co-host on the net. Starting off with Dave Dreher, the lead news writer at Gruesome Magazine. Dave, how you doing, bud?
Hey, Doc, I'm good. How are you?
Ready or not, I'm good. Yeah.
Yeah, ready or not, here it comes.
Here it comes, yeah. We're going to review this movie. Ready or not?
Ready or not.
Oh, that's just terrible. All right. Also joining us is podcasting rock star and international cosplay queen, Vanessa Thompson. Vanessa, how you doing?
And that, ladies and gentlemen, was Dad Joke Corner.
There you go. I wish I could deny.
In a corner.
I wish I could deny.
That hurt.
Everybody loves a good dad joke. Come on.
Yeah. Seems like all I can achieve.
We're showing our age, Doc. It's happening.
We are gathered here today to discuss the film Ready or Not from the directors behind the team that's called Radio Silence, Matt Bettinelli-Olpin and Tyler Gillett. There's a third one whose name is not in front of me, so I don't know it. But they've done a number of shorts and other films. Came to fame with VHS, right? When they did October 31st.
I remember that.
In this film, they team up with Samara Weaving, who plays Grace, and she is getting married to Alex, played by Mark O'Brien, and his brother is Daniel, played by Adam Brody, and their mother is Andie MacDowell. So it's a lovely family of nutballs and kooks. I think Aunt Helene may steal the film from everybody, played by Nicky. God, somebody help me pronounce that.
Yeah, her.
Guadagni. How do you say that name? Say it, Vanessa.
Guadagni?
I was going with Guadagni.
That is. I could not get that out. Isn't that terrible?
We couldn't tell, Doc.
My coffee hasn't kicked in. That's why.
It was very smooth. We couldn't even tell. You couldn't do it.
So smooth.
All right. So this film is about Grace, who is getting married, like I said, and on the wedding night, she finds out that she has to play a game to enter the family, and the game that is chosen for her, is hide and seek, and she must make it through the night or suffer the consequences. She has no idea what the consequences are. Neither do we as the audience, but it becomes known as the film goes on and things get wild and crazy. And you certainly don't want to be a maid in this house. I do not think so. But this movie has gotten a lot of positive feedback from genre fans. And it's going to be really, really interesting to hear what the Grue-Crew think of it. So let's start off with our first impressions of Ready or Not. So Vanessa, start us off.
I had a lot of fun watching this. It felt kind of like a combination of Clue, a little bit of a Haunted Mansion. You get a badass female character. I love when we have, I say I love it, but we see it quite often in horror. But you get a unsuspecting female lead who then has to find her inner badass to survive people killing her or trying to kill her. And I thought Samara Weaving was so excellent at that. I thought she was just so natural and funny, and her reactions to things and things happening to her were great. Really kind of reminded me a bit of Bruce Campbell at times, and I thought that was a lot of fun. I liked the backstory. It felt a lot like very almost innocent, with all the gore and everything that is in this movie. It still felt kind of innocent, an innocent premise. There's a curse on the family, and they have to perform this ritual, and all this stuff has to happen. And I just had a lot of fun living in that world for a little while, and I thought the aesthetic really fell in with that and the house that they're in, and the board game aspect, the family being from this board gaming dynasty, and that being a part of bringing new members into the fold, and them having to play a game in order to be initiated into the family. So yeah, overall, I had a good time. Was I blown away? Not really. It kind of, I don't want to say middle of the road, because it was more fun than that, but I could definitely see this going under the radar, right? If you didn't catch it right around the time it came out, I don't know if people would necessarily go and catch it, but I'd watch it again.
You'd watch it again. All right, Dave, what was your first impression of Ready or Not?
Well, this film really wasn't marketed well at all. So when you said this was the one we had to watch for the show, I'm like, what? So I actually had to go find the trailer and check it out. So I went to it kind of cold. I'd seen the trailer one time, and knew Samara Weaving was in it, who I like a lot. So I was really kind of blown away by this one. I had a fantastic time with this movie. There's so many goofy characters that are so well fleshed out. Even the whole premise is actually rather complicated, but yet at no time were you confused or couldn't figure out what was going on. It's really tightly written, and you can very easily follow along, what's happening just by the way the characters react and, to the different things. And, I really like that. So many times we watch some of these movies and it's obvious the director knows what's going on and we're supposed to know, but nobody ever clues us in. So we just sit there and scratch our heads because we don't know what's happening. But that wasn't the case with this one. The humor was dark and fantastic. The effects were top notch. There's really not a whole heck of a lot to not like about this. And Aunt Helene, everyone needs an Aunt Helene in their family.
Do they though, Dave?
She was crazy. She really was. I loved her stomping around with that axe. But yeah, overall, I enjoyed the hell out of this movie. I really, really did.
Yeah, I would say that this movie's strength relies on Samara Weaving, who is making a name for herself in the genre. She also did The Babysitter, which I believe we liked. I know I did.
We did, yep. We definitely. I know I did too. I don't remember. Vanessa, did you like it?
I actually haven't seen it.
No.
Oh, you didn't see it? Oh, you weren't around. Oh, okay. Gotcha.
And then Mayhem, of course. That was
also very good.
Yeah, and she made a name for herself in Picnic at Hanging Rock, which is a TV miniseries. She was even in Three Billboards, which did real well as a supporting character. And of course, she's coming up in Bill and Ted Face the Music, so that ought to break her into the big time, I would say.
I would think so.
Now, this movie at first did not sit with me. Vanessa was kind of suggesting it might be, underwhelming or a little middle of the road, or, even though she enjoyed it. And I felt that way perhaps a little stronger at first. I thought it was pulling its punches. It certainly isn't in the last, 10 minutes. But I thought a lot of the other time, and I think most of it was because we saw a lot of what was happening in the trailers, and it left very little surprises. Samara is very good. The rest of the cast is very good, but of course, Aunt Helene is, almost literally steals the entire movie right up to the very end. When she's sitting, when they're taking the photos, the wedding photos, and she's just sitting there
with that scowl.
Oh my God, she is giving Samara the stink eye, and she just can't get away from it. And she can't smile, she can't turn her head. She's just like glued to those women staring at her. It's hilarious, and it's just really kooky. Some of the backstory and the mythos of it, which was suggested heavily, I think fell a little short of being drawn out well enough to support what was happening, and I found that a little problematic. But at the end, it's just a really wild ride, and the directors handle the action really, really well, and they keep it moving fast, and there's some really great shots of our characters, and the camera loves Samara Weaving. There's some shots of her, like toward the end when she's covered in blood, and it's just like she's hilarious. She even snorts. It's funny.
She snorts a couple different times in the movie. Yeah.
I'm not sure I bought the chemistry between her and her husband to be, because she didn't feel like a gold digger, but she didn't feel like they were needing to be married either. It really felt weird.
I think that plays out though, because in a way, when we find out about him more and his actual character, maybe he was slumming by being with her, and he kind of liked the appeal of that because it's so opposite of his family. So I think to me, that's how it seemed to play out.
Yeah, and of course we never saw him outside of that environment, and that environment being in the house with the family again, of course, alters him. So I guess we've never really seen the two, and maybe perhaps we needed that. I don't know. It doesn't deter from what happens, but it just left me a little. I was
one thing that bothered you the whole time.
Yeah, I was never really sympathetic to his character. Whether I never felt he was either never really knew or cared if he was going to help her or hinder her along the way. Right? It just never. It almost seemed like totally her fight, like she was suddenly in this thing and on her own. But I think for a good portion of it, you're supposed to feel that he's trying to save her, and you almost get more of that from the brother.
Yeah.
Oh, I loved Adam Brody in this. I thought he was great.
So I hear a lot of people, especially in the genre or covering the genre, saying it's the best horror film of the year, and I'm not feeling it.
They obviously haven't seen Velocipaster. That's all I can say.
Well, there is that. Oh Lord, I can name 10 more films that would be better than this one. But I did see it twice because I felt that I didn't give it a shot when I first saw it, and since we had a slight delay in our review, I did travel back to the theater and I watched it a second time thanks to AMC and their A-list. Yes, it did cost me more. It didn't cost me any more, and I was already paying. So, and it did change my opinion a little bit. I did enjoy it far more the second time. So it has that. She punches a kid, so that's fun.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, they go. This film really doesn't pull at punches. I mean, even and I know we don't want to talk. I know we don't want to talk about the ending yet, but I was kind of wondering, where things were going to go, and when we get our conclusion, you could say it's explosive. I think that would not be a.
It certainly is splatter filled. Yes.
Yes. So
literally.
But you think they did pull their punches, Doc? You kind of gave up.
Yeah, up until then, I thought they did. I thought that.
Oh, come on! We get a maid gets her head blown off. We get another maid that gets an arrow through the mouth.
Yeah.
Does her head get blown off? No, her head doesn't get blown off.
One gets blown through.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's a mess.
Off.
All right, but I mean, I thought we saw more in the trailer than we saw in the movie.
I only seen the trailer once, so I really can't.
Yeah, and I was like,
that.
I thought it was a little like, and like I said, it may be because all the things we're talking about, the arrow and the headshot, we're all in that the red band trailer. So other than there's a couple of things that happen to Grace as she goes along that we didn't see, and that's fine, but it's minor compared. But the end makes up for anything that I'm talking about. Ending is quite explosive. It is amazing.
Yeah. Did anybody else get kind of like a You're Next vibe
Very much.
for this. I mean, it really had the. My original thought as I was seeing, because I really liked the story premise. I really did. I was thinking as I'm viewing it, I'm like, oh, here's like a really original idea. This is something that, people always say, oh, they're always making the same movie. But the longer it went along, I'm like, okay, now we're just into Your Next territory. And, family members hunting other family members around a giant house. So they kind of lost that a little bit, that originality. Because I like the whole idea of because, they always say this game, when someone comes into the family, does not always end in this bloody hunt. I mean, the one guy said he had to play chess.
It was the first time in 30 years.
Yeah. So the hide and seek only comes up every now and again. That was just kind of, it's a luck of the draw kind of thing, which I thought was kind of cool. And I loved everybody's reaction when the card pops out and it's hide and seek, and everyone's just like, fuck.
Yeah. It's like, and she's like, something wrong.
She's like, what?
And it was a little kind of kitschy like that, right? It was allowed to kind of poke fun at itself and at its own characters, and I think that's what made it more fun for me too.
Well, it helps that Samara Weaving knows how to throw a profanity around. So
I love that.
She delivers them with gusto. Especially when that car drives by, right? When that car drives by and leaves her there, and she goes, "What's wrong with you?"
Yeah,
calls her every name in the book. It's hilarious.
She's great. She's so natural and organic in her acting and her delivery.
Her scream was entirely unique. It was not, your typical Scream Queen scream. It was still a loud scream, but it was this wavery scream. I'm trying to figure out how to describe it, because it does. It's not just an it's like a
Yeah.
Like when she jumps off the table there at the end with the knife in her hand, it's just like,
oh, I know, that was great. Just raw.
Yeah, that's a really good way to put it.
Yeah. I really loved Andie MacDowell too. I just always love her as an actress, but that kind of boss bitch attitude that she had, and I just love seeing her on screen and delivering with that southern accent. She just makes it. She adds a lot to things, I think, because she has a very softness about her, but then when she plays these kind of methodical, tough characters, I think it's a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah. Now, I thought the directors did a real good job, although based on their previous material, I was expecting it to be a little bit more crazy, even more crazy than it is. I thought things would just get batshit crazy at the end. It certainly delivers. Don't get me wrong, but based on like 1031, they can really ramp it up with craziness, and like you can't catch your breath crazy. And I don't think that happens here. I think it's a little bit more casually paced, even with the action that it has. Having said that, there's a shot when the car wrecks that they're, it's kind of slow-mo, and they're flying around, flailing around the car, and glass is flying everywhere. She's screaming that crazy scream we're talking about, and it's so well done.
Yeah, I agree. And that's just one of many scenes that I thought were very well put together.
Mm-hmm.
And they did seem to kind of back off on the crazy a little bit, but I think that's because maybe the characters were so strong in this. I think overshadowing the characters with that much insanity might have actually made the film a little worse for me, because I really liked even the bad characters. I loved them.
Yeah, there is. I don't think there is really a bad character in here.
I mean, not the bad. I mean, the bad, like the evil characters.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I was even rooting for them. I mean, I was hoping for more Aunt Helena, and I even the dad, as he was starting to freak out when he realized that it was getting close to daybreak, and everyone's thinking this whole thing's a farce. This curse isn't going to manifest. And when they realize the sun comes up, and they're just like, well. Look at that.
I know, especially after they're all cringing in fear.
Yeah. I mean, that was great. I mean, that was just classic. It really was, and it got awkward real quick because they're thinking like, okay, now what the hell are we going to do? We've been chasing this woman around. And then of course we get our true ending.
Yes.
And it all comes full circle.
Yes.
Now they know what happened to the neighbors.
Yeah, exactly.
True.
I love the characters. I thought they were they were each very much that character to the extreme, almost like overacted sometimes, but that lent itself to you really knowing, like, okay, she's the stuck-up rich bitch. He's the drunk brother. She's the coked up sister, which she was hilarious.
She was great too.
She was
I don't know what I'm
hilarious.
doing.
I really, really like that. They played them all the way, and that's fun because you know exactly what you're getting from those characters and exactly what to expect.
Yeah, they were all like that. Even the one husband, the one that married the daughter of the toy family. Well, he was even great with that stupid bow and arrow thing. Watching the YouTube videos, trying to figure out how to fire it.
Fitch.
That was great.
Christian Brune is Fitch. Yeah, his reaction to the sunlight is the one that really. I don't like it when he tried to convince the other in-law woman, the one that married into the family, was like, "Okay, at some point we're going to cut and run, right?" And his reaction, there was all these. I mean, this is almost more of a comedy than it is a horror film.
Oh, very much so. I mean, Vanessa mentioned Clue, and there definitely has that vibe to it as well. It's all there. I really think it's the complete package. I don't know that I agree with a lot of the genre fans who are calling it like a second coming of the genre, but it's a good, solid film that's really fun to take part of.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it certainly cements Samara Weaving as perhaps the reigning Scream Queen.
The reigning Scream Queen.
I would like to see her in more films. That's for certain.
I don't think that's going to be an issue. I think we.
I don't think it's going to be a problem.
She's great. She has a great look, and she's just so. Can't say enough about how just natural she appears on screen.
You just kind of instantly like her too. I mean, just that whole opening scene, the scene in the bedroom after the wedding when Angelina shows up in the doorway. That whole exchange with them when they're just kind of rolling around on the bed and she's just being kind of fun and frisky, and you just really like her. You can't help but you're instantly in her corner immediately. And I think that's just her. I think that's just herself. I'm not sure she has to act that hard. I think she just plays herself a lot.
Yes. Now, is this film a hit? It has an estimated $6 million budget, and it has grossed around $20 million. Is that a hit?
Well, that's a little over three times what it cost to make it. I would say it's a hit.
All right.
Hopefully they don't do Ready or Not 2. I don't think we need that.
No, but I did like the theme song. They could sell me that single. I'd buy that.
Nice. Did you like the very ending? I'm just going to say that I dug it up until the line, and that line made me groan. But am I alone in that? I have a feeling I am.
I mean, it didn't really make me groan. I didn't think it was necessary.
Yeah.
But it didn't necessarily make me groan.
Yeah, I agree with Dave.
It could have just literally ended with her lighting a cigarette. That would have
absolutely. That would have been fine. That would have done it. But you got to have that little catchphrase. Catchphrase? Would you call it a catchphrase? I'm not sure it'd be a catchphrase, but you know what I mean.
All right. Well, let's wrap this up and give our final thoughts, score, and favorite scene for Ready or Not. Vanessa, start us off.
Well, the more I've talked about it with you guys, it's really just cemented more how much fun I had watching it. I just watched it today. It's fresh in my mind, and everyone I've talked to, I've told them, like, I like it. It's a lot of fun. It's nothing, I don't think it's going to hurt anybody's feelings. It's just a fun movie to watch with a fun plot and a great final girl, I guess we could say. And some wacky, kooky characters that are fun to watch, and a great old like house environment. So I would totally suggest this one. And there's plenty of gore that they show you, and it's awesome. And Samara Weaving gets ashed the whole way through this movie. She gets Bruce Campbell through this movie, and I really, really love seeing female actresses who can, pull that off, embody that physical kind of acting and comedy and a horror comedy kind of stuff. And it's a lot of fun for me to watch. So that's probably one of my favorite things about the movie is Samara Weaving and her character. And like I said before, I'm probably gonna cosplay this one because she is a badass overall.
Already biting the wedding gown, aren't you?
Exactly. Hit their stores left and right. So favorite scene, that's gonna be super tough because there's so many great scenes, so many great like one-liners. Oh my gosh. I keep going back though to the scene where she runs into the barn and she encounters one of the kids, that little shithead. And in true terrible family fashion, he shoots her and she falls into this pit of just disgusting, vile goat guts that have been in there for decades. And it's just disgusting and gross, and she's got to climb her way out. And just her reactions to what when she has to put her hand through that nail to get out and then rip her hand off the nail.
That was pretty good.
It was good, and she killed it. She really made you feel that, and I just loved it. She was so nasty after that. Like that was it. That was her breaking point. Getting shot out by a kid was her freaking breaking point. So that's that really stick out in my head. And so, especially the ending. I mean, one of y'all have to mention the ending. If not, we'll jointly mention it.
Yeah, we might jointly have to do it.
Yeah.
For sure.
So I'm gonna give this one a 4. I had a
4!
great time. Yeah.
Nice.
Time to watch it again. And I loved Grace in it.
Now you mentioned that she gets ashed, right? Air quotes ashed. She was in 3 episodes of Ash versus the Evil Dead TV show.
It was
The first season. Yep.
She's got her cred.
Yep. There you go. All right, Dave. What is your final thoughts? Your score, favorite scene for Ready or Not?
Well, Vanessa and I are on the same page on this one. There's really not much to not like about this one. Smartly written, witty, dark, bloody, violent. It's got it all. It's all in there, Doc. I really like this one a lot. This one could maybe sneak into my top 10. It might happen. Possible. We'll have to wait and see what the rest of the year brings. But yeah, strong performances from everyone. Even though it's not original material, it seems original just because of the kind of different spins they've kind of put on some of the characters and some of the dilemmas that our heroine finds herself in. Just a ton of fun when it makes its way to home video or one of the streaming services. Definitely take your time and sit down and watch this one. I don't know. Is it still in theaters? I'm not sure it still is, but you might be able to catch it. Okay. You might still be able to catch it in the theaters when you hear this. Favorite scene? I'm going to go with, in the movie theater when I knew we weren't playing around anymore, it was the scene where they shoot the arrow through the maid's mouth. That one for me, really, I was just like, oh, damn. That's, and then of course the fun that goes on after it, just the gang's reaction to the whole thing. But I really just like that scene. In my mind, I was just like, okay, this movie ain't screwing around anymore. We're going to get into some serious gore effects, and we do for sure. I'm going to agree with the lovely Miss Vanessa. I also give it a 4.
A 4. All right.
Yes.
I like this slightly less than the two of you, but I like it a lot more than I did the first time. So the first time didn't sit well with me, and it's curious as to why. It might be an expectation thing. I am not certain. There were some problems with the film that kind of rubbed me the wrong way. Most of it has to do with the relationship between Alex and Grace. And her dilemma wore a little thin. It didn't really. I guess I wanted a little something. The first time I wanted something a little more supernatural with it. I mean, they kind of do that, but not really. And it didn't never gave me an impression it was going to with the trailers or anything. But I don't know. Something in me wanted that, and so I'm going to blame mom. I'm blaming myself, I guess is what I'm saying. But in the end, I'm going to give it a 3. Samara Weaving is wonderful in this. Definitely is set up to be in our end of the year best of 2019 awards for certain as best actress, I would imagine. There might be a few scenes in here that are definitely going to be in there as well in our crazy little categories. This film is a standout for the year. It just didn't register 100 as well for me as it has for others in our trade that have been reviewing it. Even our own John Black liked it more than me, and I typically like films more than he does, so this is an oddity. So yeah, my favorite. I'm going to go ahead and do it. My favorite scene is toward the end, and spoilers here. Anne Helene, the window's open, and everybody's kind of like thought they were going to, die horrible deaths, and they're all just standing there, kind of with their dicks in their hands. Nothing really happened, and they're kind of like, well, what do we do now? And Anne Helene says, well, I'm going to make things right, and I'm going to kill her anyway. And she grabs her axe, which was awesome, by the way, and heads toward Grace. One step in, pop, pop. She explodes, and everybody's covered in her blood. And then they all know it's their turn, and it gets insanely gory from there on in, does it not?
For sure.
Yeah, and of course they add the corny delivery of a line to the last guy, but hey, it was deserved. He earned it.
But the best part is Samara Weaving just starting to
laugh, and then the snort, the snort. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She's just like, oh, just desserts, right? No, man. All right, well, that's our review for Ready or Not. Like Vanessa said, she saw it today. I did as well for the second time, so it's out there to be seen. If you can catch it. If not, look for it probably on your favorite streaming service before too long. I would imagine by Halloween this will be out there somewhere.
I got a feeling that'll probably be where it goes.
I know they have to wait 90 days, right? That's the deal.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, you can't. That's why Netflix has having trouble getting their films. They don't want to wait the 90 days. Right? 90 days puts it just around October, right?
Yeah, more November, I guess. Really, at this point, we're in September. So September,
what about
October.
Redbox? Will it go to Redbox first?
Oh, certainly, yeah.
We'll keep an eye out.
Yeah, check it out. Ready or Not, and for anything, if for nothing else, for Samara Weaving. All right, if you would like to support H&R, the best way to do it is to share it with a friend. Let somebody know. Share it on social media. Give us a review on iTunes. That's the way to do it, right?
Do it.
Sure, if you say so, Doc. I've been telling everybody to rent an airplane and get one of those banners and fly around, but okay, maybe I was going a little too far. It'd be easier to share it on social media.
Yeah, it would be. All right. Otherwise, you can go over to horrornewsradio.com/Patreon to pitch in. You get some really cool things there, or you can get a t-shirt at horrornewsradio.com/tees. That's TEES. If you want to give us some feedback, we'd love to hear from you. Feedback at Horror News Radio is one way to do it. You can also go to Facebook and join our group, our Horror News Radio Gruesome Magazine group, or go to gruesomemagazine.com and leave a comment on the blog post. We want to thank Rocky Gray for our killer new H&R theme song. Is it still new? I think
I
it's
just
new.
say, I don't. Okay, all right.
When does it not be? When does it no longer be? When does it no longer be new? I don't know.
How old is it now? It's like working on its second year, isn't it?
It's getting close to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
We can just say killer.
We can, and I should. I need to take new L's of thing, but
I wonder if anybody even remembers the old one. I mean, the old theme song.
of course, it was classic, man.
Classic.
All right, coming soon on our reviews is It Chapter 2. I think Dave, that's the one. Woo! Yeah, I hear a lot of happiness. All right, Dave, Vanessa, thank you for joining me.
Of course.
Always a pleasure.
All right, let's say goodnight.
Good night.
Good night.